Nation Radio. United we rock.
That's right, over in Charlottetown.
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, congratulations.
Oh, thanks.
It was very psyched for you guys to take that home. You had an awesome performance.
Yeah, it was fun, man, and I think that's what made it a little extra special for us, that all the bands nominated were really good.
It was a solid night. Like, there was some that I didn't even know, but they were amazing.
Yeah, it was one of those things that if no matter who out of that list won, you'd be like, yeah, I can understand. You know, it wasn't like one band that's known and the rest are a bunch of scrubs. Like, it was like kind of...
For sure. But, I mean, rightfully so. I mean, you guys definitely did a lot of promotion, a lot of effort, a lot of legwork to get to where you're at and to come to that point.
Yeah.
So when I heard that you guys were taking it home, I mean, I fully thought you deserved it. So
oh, thanks, man.
Kudos. And then now, Carnivore's Oath. That's pretty solid. It hasn't even come out yet. You're getting wicked reviews.
Yeah. No, I mean, Josh had some good ideas for just running a really good campaign where, let's get some advance press first and then get the album out. So now it's been pretty effective. So, and it's all been pretty positive so far too, which is good. No one tore it up too much.
Usually I do a bit of a roundtable of the band and what they do, but just maybe tell my listeners who you are.
I'm Dan Hodgson. I'm the vocalist, and the rest of the guys is Ray Blackier on rhythm guitar, Nick Doucette on lead guitar, Ryan Gallant on drums, and Adam Pratt on bass.
And that creates Death Valley Driver for Charlottetown.
Exactly.
Awesome. Tell me about the name. Where did Death Valley Driver come from?
It's from a wrestling hold, actually.
Death Valley? Really?
Yeah, like a lot of people... I had actually people ask me before, it's like, have you ever been to Death Valley? And I'm like, no. It's the name of a wrestling hold, and I always thought it just had a cool name, you know? And any metal band where you get the word death in there is always...
Absolutely. And now how does the writing go about? Is that a big collaborative?
It's pretty collaborative, yeah. I mean, like most, guitar-based bands, it starts with a riff.
Yeah.
And then we just jam that out, and I mean, everybody has equal input and stuff. Where I don't play any instruments, I do a lot of the arranging.
Yeah.
But the other guys, Ryan comes up with his own beats, and Adam the bass line, and Nick and Ray, a lot of times it's their riffs. I might go in there and change a few little things here and there, but it's just a very collaborative effort.
Everybody has their say.
Yeah, and we've got probably a pretty good formula right now, like when it comes to writing.
Yeah.
So it's not... But once we started working with a producer, that really added a whole new element in everything. So.
And who have you been working with?
We worked with Colin Buchanan. He probably has no metal background really whatsoever. He's guitarist in a band from Charlottetown called Paper Lions. He's more of a guitar pop band, and we wanted to do something really different because I just find that if you have people from different backgrounds, musical backgrounds, there's always a cool middle ground you can reach. Yeah. So the reason we picked Colin is because he's such a songwriter. Like, we brought him the riffs, the heavy stuff, and we just wanted him to help us mold them into better, cohesive songs rather than just, here's a riff jammed onto another riff. Like, I just found with Colin, he really helped us with just the songwriting element.
Was Carnivore's Oath the first time you guys started that process in that way?
Yeah, it was the first time we worked it with a producer. And, when we started writing, we noticed there was a lot of the stuff we were kind of maybe getting into, relying on old tricks that we did, so we were like, let's get an outside ear and, help us out. It's just, I don't know, to me it was an amazing experience, and we're definitely going to work with him again.
I mean, I can hear the growth. I mean, I don't know exactly how long I've been listening to DVD, but I mean, I've at least been playing it since I first started my radio show on Nation Radio in the middle of June.
Yeah.
And there is just a different feel in this release. I really like the progression and the growth, so I applaud your attempts for branching out and trying something new.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the heaviness is always going to be there. But, we just streamline the songs a little bit, and there's some songs where the vocals aren't as guttural as they were in the past. They're a little bit cleaner, and I don't know, if anything, like as the vocalist, I wouldn't mind exploring that even more on further releases. Okay. Yeah. I don't think we're done evolving yet.
Is that ever possible though? Like, do you ever want to be done evolving?
I don't think. I mean, it may be not popular to say, but that's why I respect Metallica, because they just do whatever they want.
Yeah.
You know, and to me, even the Reload albums, they're hard rock albums, but to me they still sound like Metallica. Yeah. Like there's always that root that you'll have in your sound, but you can still experiment with it and go in different directions. And I've always respected bands that, but at the same time, I love Motorhead and AC/DC and Kiss, right? Who really stuck to their guns through the whole career, and
it has its own merit, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I mean. To me, you gotta write music for yourself, and if people appreciate it, then that's cool. But the day you start writing for your listeners, I think you're kind of done then.
So how does the band feel about this new direction and the results? Like how?
Oh man, everybody was on board.
Stoked?
Oh yeah, and like I think it was all of us kind of agreeing that maybe let's try getting a producer and try some things, And there's some other little elements too that we had, like there was some keyboards and some stuff like that, kind of typo negative, Faith No More kind of eerie keyboards. It wasn't like synth pop or anything, but deep purple and stuff like that. Just a little bit of element of extra layer of filth on it, really. Depth
and dynamic. Are you taking the keyboards on the road with you?
No, I mean, because a lot of places they're just in as more soundscapes to thicken up some sections. They don't really take the forefront like the other instruments, but I think it'd be cool to jam with a keyboard player or an organ player. That'd be kind of cool.
I'm always a fan of it, as long as you're right. It can be overdone, synth pop, whatever, but
but no,
the right spots.
Yeah, that's why I love bands like Typo Negative. They just really knew how to add keyboards to the mix. And if anything, it makes it sound creepier.
Yeah.
Because I was listening to some stuff like Goblin and stuff like that too. We were trying to come up with some different ideas of where we want it to go. And I always loved that type of eerie kind of. Yeah, they did like a lot of the old Dario Argento horror movies, like Suspiria and stuff like that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Interesting. How long has Death Driver been around?
Since 2008, so that's we'll be going into 6 years next year. So I think I failed math in high school.
That's all right. It's roughly. 2014's been a big year. What's on the forefront?
Well, we're shooting a video. Actually, we're coming back to Halifax next weekend to shoot a video for the title track, Carnivore's Oath, with Colin McDonald. He did the last video that we did too for Smoke Whip. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. And, we're just always playing shows around, and Carnivore's Oath was recorded back in March is when we started it. So it's almost old news to us now. Like the songs are so used to, we've heard them a million times.
Yeah.
So we'll probably, over the winters, maritime winters are like, it's kind of hard to plan a lot of shows and travel.
For sure.
So we'll probably go into writing mode again soon.
Nice.
Who knows? It might start, or the idea will start with an EP, but it could grow, because that's what happened with Graveyard Dead. It was supposed to be just an EP, and then we just started going and going and going, and so yeah, who knows? But we definitely.
Sorry, keep going.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, but definitely writing's coming up soon.
Nice. I was just gonna say, usually by the time around here we end up saving enough money to record. You're shooting for like an EP. By that point that you're ready for it, you've got a few more written anyway. Throw them on there.
And like you just said, it would save money, and it's expensive to make a record.
It is,
especially for bands like ourselves who. You guys, what it's like to save gig money and whatnot, just because it's not a cheap process. It can be a cheap process, but it's going to sound cheap.
Yeah, well, that's it.
If you really want a good sounding record, it's like anything else, you have to pay for it if you want the quality.
And Carnivore's Oath sounds good.
Oh, thank you. Again, full credit to Colin Buchanan for, he engineered it, and another engineer in Charlottetown, Adam Gallant, he helped with the mixing. So, and then we had Dan Weston mastered. He's worked with a lot of a lot of hip hop stuff like Classified and Shad and stuff like that. Yeah, he did like City and Color and things like that. So again, there's a lot of non-metal people involved here. I think the only metal people involved were the band themselves. So
it kind of shows though that essentially music is music, and music lovers aren't necessarily restricted by limits of genre or anything of the sort, right?
You know, again, going back to Colin, the reason we work with him is because he's talented.
Yeah.
And he knows how to write songs, and that just transcends what type of music you're playing.
Definitely.
Writing a song is writing a song, so, you know, whether it's country or pop or heavy metal. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you're aware, but part of the nature of my show on Middle Asia Radio is to focus on the amazing fucking talent that we have here in Atlantic Canada. I do my best to play as many Atlantic Canadian artists as I can to get that word out there, and one of the things that I preach about a lot is the limitations of exposure around here. What are your thoughts on our scene and I guess its stretch?
Yeah, I mean, I've been involved in this scene for a long time. I mean, I used to play in a band in New Brunswick, in Moncton, called Galactus, which is kind of more of a stoner rock band.
Yeah.
And I definitely think we're in a good spot right now. The number of bands is down a little bit, but I think the quality is better now. Like, because, you know, in my opinion, the bands that maybe aren't that great, they usually fall off the grid anyway.
Yeah.
So, you know, like bands like Blackmore and Orchid's Curse, Heroes Last Right, you know, stuff like that. They've been around for years because they're good, and people still want to hear them. So,
agreed.
Yeah.
And Death Valley. Come on,
I appreciate that.
You guys have been around for longer than some. And
yeah, I mean, the reason we still do is because we love it. I mean, a lot of people romanticize bands a lot. They think that, you know, there's tons of money to be made. Or if you're playing gigs that, oh man, you must be making a ton of cash.
Yeah.
Why are you still working a regular job? So it's kind of funny. Because, you know, you're in a band yourself, so you realize there's no money. You do it because you love it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very few hit it so that they can stop doing what they have to do in order to do what they love, but...
Especially playing heavy metal.
Yeah.
Because you're not playing a very, you know... it's a popular genre, but it's almost like a very global scene. It's not concentrated, like for example, we're in Halifax, but it's not like there's a gazillion metalheads here, but, you know...
Yeah.
So, you know...
Still underground.
Yeah, I mean, to me, though, like, going back to your question, I think the scene is still pretty healthy. You know, there's... and the thing with those bands that I mentioned, too, they always have product. They're always making records. And, you know, and there's been some incredible records. I mean, that last Here's Last Rights new album is just
phenomenal.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I know Blackmore's working on a new album now, and Orchid's Curse is working on an EP, so it's cool to see everybody still, you know, out there putting out some stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And you're right, it is a lot of what is coming out now. And when I started the show, I knew there was a great scene, a lot of wicked bands, but I really had no idea. I just had the surface of it all. There's an amazing array of talent and a lot of quality. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know. I just think it's maybe that East Coast thing. We're working class people, and you know, and maybe it reflects in the music as well. So, you know,
Look at that. You're definitely working class people.
Yeah. And that's why bands that I mentioned haven't given up, because they're in it for the right reasons. I mean, if you're in it to make it, a lot of times you're going to fail because you're not really being... A lot of these bands that are just in it, they're playing music because it's popular at the time, and I don't know, most music fans can see through that. They can spot a fake a mile away. So,
Definitely.
Yeah. And I don't care what you sound like. If you sound like Nickelback, you know, I don't really listen to them, but if that's what you genuinely like and you're playing it because, you know, it's from the heart, more power to you. I have no problem with that. I mean, this show tonight's kind of a testament of like genre bending and stuff, you know.
I'm actually not too familiar with the other two bands that are playing. I know Orchid's Curse, obviously, but looking forward to checking them out.
No, it's cool, hip-hop, metal. I mean, I'm all about experimentation when it comes to music. So.
Nice. So just very quick then, a little sneak peek of we talked about the concept for your video. I mean, I've seen the other videos you guys have done, and it's had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was, and I mean, Colin, with these concepts, they're all his. We just send him a song, and he visualizes in his head what he thinks it should be, and he came up with a pretty killer script. Pretty violent, lots of lots of fighting and bloodletting. So we're looking forward to that.
So he just comes up with the concept, and then you guys just go in and fill the roles.
Yeah. And he told us that this is the most expansive project that he's done yet. So that makes us pretty excited to be kind of project at this level. So
Awesome. How did the release go last night?
very good, man. We had Orchids Chris Quake with us there too. So rowdy crowd.
Well, you guys must have some pretty hardcore hometown fans.
Yeah, I know. You know, it's cool too is we've been around for a long time, and we noticed that the people that were coming out to see us early on are still coming out. And plus, we're getting kids that are just turning 19 coming to the bars and checking us out. So it's cool because I read an interview recently with Jamie Jasta from Hatebreed, and he was saying that if you don't recycle or refresh your audience every 3 years, you're done. Because a lot of these older people may move on to something else, and you need a new crop of kids coming up that so.
Interesting.
And I always found that a cool concept. So we've been noticing that we're getting some kids coming out. So
thanks. Yeah. Good stuff. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the set tonight.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you came out.
Thanks for taking some time.
Anytime.